What's going on, beautiful people? This is the Perspective Chasers podcast, and I am your host, John. As always, I'll start this episode with a quick update on editing. In terms of getting the episodes up, I'm starting to find a bit more of a rhythm, and I'm trying to increase how quickly I upload. But I really do think I'm going to try to restructure my content and make it a little bit more concise and a little bit more to the point, maybe some shorter episodes looking at the analytics and the kind of engagement levels. But I really want to get on to the main topic of this episode, which is self-doubt. And this is a spur of the moment episode brought about in the middle of editing the last episode. But I really got hit with this kind of banging my head against the wall, overwhelming feeling of what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing it? Does it have any value? And this overwhelming tidal wave of self-doubt. And I was sitting there for a minute, messaging people, kind of procrastinating a little bit on what it is that I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and kind of sitting in the editing process. Is the content that I'm putting out of value? And as much as the approach that I've had is to kind of document the journey as honestly as I can, I'm sitting there and I'm getting bored. As I've said before, that level of engagement just isn't there. And those criticisms of myself are valid. So that self-doubt, it comes from somewhere. It's, by all means, there's going to be areas of it that are contaminants and just come in from left field and just catch you off guard. But a lot of those self-doubts and those criticisms are valid. There's reasons why I'm sitting there doubting myself. And that's because I know in my heart of hearts, there's something that doesn't sit right with me. There's something that doesn't resonate. For the only way I can kind of articulate it at the minute, I'm not resonating with myself. I'm not, as much as I'm putting out content and it's going towards the way that I want, it's still not having, not the impact that I want, because that's the wrong thing, because it's still very much in its early stages. But it's still not treading the line that I want to tread. And that's okay, but I need to actively pursue making that better. And if I didn't have the self-doubt, I wouldn't have that urge to improve. I wouldn't have that urge to look at where the engagement is and what's happening with the episodes and how things are going and how I want things to go. Like, quite honestly, if I can't tolerate the editing process, why should anybody tolerate listening to me? There needs to be a reason for everything, and there needs to be a reason why people are listening to me jabber away in a room. And if that's not to share my experiences in an effective way, then at the minute I don't know what is. As I say, the end goal is to get somebody else here and share their experiences as well, but I need to be able to draw out the experiences within myself so I can draw out the experiences within others. And I feel like I'm kind of missing that mark in a sense, but I'm working on getting better with it. And that's how I'm attacking that self-doubt. That's how I'm going to overcome that hurdle, is by looking at it with an analytical mind and breaking down what is a valid criticism, what is valid in these self-doubts, and what needs to be discredited because it's just background noise. The more I can sit there and be honest with myself about my own content and my own experiences and what gave my life value and what is going to give other people's life value, the better content I can put out. But I need to develop how I convey that and how I get the information out of myself. There's going to be lots of different ways I can touch on subjects and go on tangents that I naturally would, but that's not always going to be the best thing for the topic or for the content. So learning how to do that and how to stay on topic more is going to help me develop not only my own thought process, but also as a conversationalist, and being able to get the most out of my conversations with people for the podcast and for personal life. just being able to communicate with people effectively is going to pay forward onto my life in many aspects. And sitting here, taking the time to develop how to do that and how to do that productively, that's worth having a bit of self-doubt. And pushing through that self-doubt and building these skills, that's what's going to get me to where I want to go. So every bit of this self-doubt, as inconvenient as it is, it's incredibly valid. And if I can use the self-doubt to pick out the flaws that I see within myself and see within my own content to then build onto a better platform and a better level of content and a better quality of content, then that's what I need to do. But that doesn't come unless I can look at the self-doubt objectively. The more I can understand where my self-doubt comes from and why I'm feeling the ways that I am, the more I'll be able to handle it and the more I'll be able to use it in an effective way to propel things rather than to bring things down. So the way that I'm going to kind of restructure things, I'm going to try to shorten episodes, I think, and kind of like I've done on this one, come in with something that really is almost a hot topic in my head, where I can give you as much of the inside scoop on the experience as I can. Like sitting there 5-10 minutes ago, literally with that feeling of self-doubt, wondering why I'm doing all of this and if it's going to pay off. Well, it's not going to pay off unless I give it the time to, and I have the conviction to stay the path and push through, give it time to build and see where it goes. So that's just all part of the process of building something and understanding that it doesn't come overnight, and gaining the perspective of not just being a content creator, but being somebody that is trying to add value to the world. It's, in order to do that, it's going to take a learning curve. It's going to take things that I don't know currently, because at the minute, my contribution to the outer world is minimal at best. But I'm trying to change that. And I need to go under personal development in order to do that. So hopefully the more I can sit down and dissect my own battles and my own obstructions that I'm facing on this journey, it will help other people understand that, one, they're not alone in the struggles, but two, understand that there is a way through there. And I'm not saying that my approach is going to be the one that works for everybody. But if I find an approach that works and I share it with the world, it at least gives them a little bit of faith that their approach may work. I think everybody these days is sold an idea of quick happiness or somebody else's happiness, that a beacon of honesty and just, look, this is my experience, this is what I've done to overcome it, and this is how I got through it, will really be a beacon of good in the world. And that's what I'm hoping to be anyway. So kind of reminding myself of that helps the self-doubt ease off. And now sitting down, trying to make value of that self-doubt and look at the self-doubt not as a negative, but as an opportunity to learn and teach. That is a turning point for me. And hopefully I can do this more, and hopefully this episode is a bit more engaging and a little bit more value, maybe even just as a beacon of hope, that if you can overcome your own self-doubt and look at it objectively for what it is, take the good and the bad and act accordingly, that you can overcome your own self-doubts to improve your own quality of life. And that is the intention of this podcast after all. So I'm going to leave this episode there for now. In terms of a seed, I would say don't shut yourself off to the negative thoughts. Try to understand why you're having them. It's very unlikely they come from nowhere. So if you can look objectively at the negative and the positive and withdraw the best lessons and the best approaches and the best practices from those experiences, you can pursue leading the best life possible for you. All the best, and I'll catch you on the next one.